Yo, it's your boy Marcus, aka Just One Marcus on the Just One channel, and today we are starting a new 82-0 series where I'm gonna go through every single team in the league and try to go 82-0 with them. Obviously, this is gonna be like fantasy style rebuilds. No, actually, right now I think I have the Stepien rule on, but you guys can let me know if you think I should turn that off going into future videos. But yeah, pretty much gonna do kind of what I did at the start of the season. So at the start of the season, I rebuilt every team from worst to best in the standings, but those were more like realistic style rebuilds. And now I'm going to do the same exact thing, but do fantasy style rebuilds and trying to go 82-0 with every single team. So I'm going to get 30 cracks at it to see if I can make it happen. The only other time I've gotten anywhere close, I think, was like 2K21 or 2K22, where I wasn't filming yet. Obviously, I didn't have the equipment to film yet. I went 81-1 with the Lakers, so maybe I'll do it again with the Lakers. But yeah, with the Rockets right now, I feel like this could go very well. These are going to be 5 years long, so obviously all these guys here, the Rockets have really good young talent that's on the come up right now. I think are going to be integral to helping this team go 82-0. So I think the plan is going to be to try to like sign a star while I can before I have to sign these young guys up, and then keep picking up high draft picks or trading for high draft picks. And then by like year 3 or 4, it should be like a team that's consistently going like 70 plus wins. I already simmed through the rest of the 2022-23 season. So now we are in the 2023 off season where these rebuilds are going to start. So draft lottery for us this year. Let's see where we're projected to go here. So we have the second projected pick. Are we going to get lucky and stay in the top 3? We go to 1. So that is a great start to this. We also have 29 via Milwaukee, and I think that's it. So maybe we could even trade 29 and some other pieces to get another top 3 pick. So off rip, I'm going to try to cheese the Hornets here and trade them my 2 first round picks. I ended up having 20 and 29. Kevin Porter Jr., because if I can trade for pick number 2, I can pick up Wembanyama and Scoot, which would be absolutely insane to help us get 82-0 eventually. Jae'Sean Tate, he's kind of on the older side, last year of his deal. Don't want to keep him around here if I can get the 2nd overall pick. And a future first of ours, which is not going to be good because we're going to be insanely good by that time. And a 2nd. So hopefully they think this is good enough value, or 2K thinks it is, and they agree. So we are about to pick up Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson to add to this insanely good young Rockets core here. And I think that is going to be huge for us. Like, I could get Brandon Miller here, but I did just trade away Kevin Porter Jr. And I think I could sign an insanely good small forward. So I am going to go Scoot and Wemby here. Brandon Miller actually comes in 1 overall higher than Scoot, but Scoot is a year younger. So I think at the end of it, he is going to progress higher than Brandon Miller. Obviously, we're accepting those 2 guys, rookie contracts. Everyone here except for this Trevor Hudgens guys is going to come back, because like I feel like these guys could progress still to be pretty good, and then maybe use them as trade pieces. So what I really want, like I just said, to add to this team is a really high overall small forward, but there's no one here in free agency that I think is good enough. But I might do some more cheese here. Actually, I'm just gonna skip through this free agency because I have all my guys pretty much on team options for 1 more year. So I don't know why Darius Days came back on the qualifying. I thought I renounced it. But yeah, I'm going to have all these guys coming back on a team option 1 more time, except for Kenyon Martin, but he shouldn't want too much money in free agency. And if he does, and there's a really like a 90 plus overall small forward, I'm obviously going to take the small forward in free agency over Kenyon Martin. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But yeah, already we got a bunch of low to mid to high 80s guys here that are really young and on the come up. I feel like this is gonna go extremely well. By the way, for this video series, the 82-0 challenges with every single team in the league, I'm gonna download the first 4 years going forward of the draft class, and then after that, like I should end them at 5 years. I don't think I would go longer than that. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 should be enough. Here's our lineup for the first year: Scoot, Green, Kenyon Martin Jr., Jabari Smith Jr., and Wembanyama as a starting 5. I just realized too that Wembanyama and Şengün as like both 5s probably isn't gonna work out. So what I might actually do is just move Jabari Smith to small forward, Wembanyama to power forward, and run out that lineup. And I think I'm actually gonna do that right now. So yeah, the starting 5 will actually be Scoot, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Wembanyama, and Şengün, with Tariq Eason, Kenyon Martin Jr., Josh Christopher, Usman Garuba, Ty Washington, and Dacian Nix all getting minutes off the bench, because I want all these guys to progress by the next player progression, so they're higher overalls. We do not have our pick this year, so I honestly would not mind being pretty good. Let's see if all these rookies that we have and young guys can even get enough wins to get into a play-in, which so far it does not look like it. Okay, we're at the trade deadline. The team is doing pretty well. Like, we're actually in a playoff spot right now, and Kenyon Martin Jr., like I said, he's on a 1-year deal. I don't have any, well, I might have him as a restricted free agent in the offseason, but I honestly would rather have a future first round pick to use in another trade, maybe in the offseason as well, to get a higher draft pick than Kenyon Martin Jr., which at that time, like, I won't even be able to trade him. So I'm just gonna run this trade with the Heat for a 2-star first and Enes Freedom, who's not gonna play for me. First season is about to wrap, and we go from winning like 19 wins last year to 49-32, second seed in the West. 1 game left against the Heat, who we made a trade with. Can we beat them and become a 50-win team? We cannot. Depressingly, we don't really care about any of these awards unless we see our guys. Wembanyama puts up 29-3 with a steal and 2 blocks, shooting 53-40, almost 80 in his rookie season. Absolutely insane, and we get him Rookie of the Year. I don't think we would get anyone there. Do we get anyone All-NBA already? It seems like we do not, and we do not get any. Actually, Wembanyama gets All Defensive in his rookie season, so that's pretty cool. Then obviously we would get Scoot and Wembanyama on all rookie first teams. I'm not going to spend too much time going through the stats in these types of videos just because it's like a fantasy style thing. I just want to see if guys are shooting well and putting up a good amount of points. So Scoot had a pretty good year minus his 3-pointers, which he'll probably progress. Jabari Smith has a better second year. Like to see that. Tari Eason actually playing really well, which in real life he's kind of he goes off in like the minutes that the regular starters don't really play. Şengün has another improvement season. Josh Christopher getting much better. Ty Washington, who was getting reserve minutes, didn't have the best year, but I think he'll still end up being pretty solid. And then Dasheen Nix actually played pretty decent. Forgot about Usman Garuba, who actually had a really efficient shooting year from the field and from the 3-point line for a big, so that is good to see. And he almost put up a steal and half a block a night. So we actually end up as the 3 seed this year because we lost that last game. I don't really care about like who is in on these teams right now, so we're pretty much just gonna sim these playoffs because it doesn't really matter. The whole point of this video is to go 82-0, and if we win it, that's just icing on top of the cake. And we end up losing in the second round to the Clippers, who end up losing in the conference finals. And the champions of the 2024 season are the Celtics, with Tatum as your finals MVP. 2024 draft lottery, will we get lucky with that Nets pick that we had? It looks like we will not. We actually only have that pick via Miami that's projected to go 10. And oh, actually no, we have Brooklyn's pick at 6. So hopefully one of those two jump up somehow a lot, and they actually, well, the Brooklyn pick drops 1 and the Rockets pick stays at 10. And then where did our pick end up going? To the Thunder at 24. But I think we could still trade up with 2 top 10 picks to get into the top 3. So Stephen Silas is off the books, and because this is a fantasy style rebuild, I think I'm just gonna pick up Michael Stauffer for like every video I do here, because he's like just a GOAT in this game as a coach. What I'm thinking for this draft is I want to try to trade for that first overall pick, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get a really good small forward. Like, what if the game messes me up somehow, or I have to get an older guy and he starts regressing? So I'd like to pick up Justin Edwards, who has Hall of Fame potential already, and he could be like a really solid guy as a backup option to be our starting small forward of the future, well, of the next 4 years that we're doing this rebuild. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do that first, and if not, the backup plan I guess would be to go for pick 3 and then either pick up Ron Holland or Matas Buzelis. The first thing I'm gonna do is trade 3 second-round picks and a far future first for an unprotected first from New Orleans, and then a swap worse with them as well, just to get some more assets to maybe help in that Bulls trade. So they agree to that. I'm gonna try to do this with my 2 top 10 picks and then those 2 picks I got from New Orleans first, and see if they just agree to that right away. And they do. So with our first overall pick, I think I'm going to stick to my guns, even though Xavier Booker and Ron Holland are up here. Like, Ron Holland's a 76. He also has Hall of Fame potential, but he can't really stretch the floor, which I don't like. And I feel like Justin Edwards would just be much better there. So yeah, I'm going to pick up Justin Edwards here with the first overall pick. I knew Xavier Booker would come in higher, and Matas actually comes in a bit higher too, which is kind of concerning. But then, yeah, Isaiah Collier I wasn't going to pick up. I don't need another point guard. And then the other small forwards here weren't nearly as good as, honestly, Justin Edwards will probably go up to like a 79 once I move into small forward. So team player options. Like I said, I'm able to bring all the young guys back here, so I can bring them back on those deals and still have a lot of money saved up for this free agency period to sign a star. And it seems like Jaylen Brown is going to be that guy. He has 2 max offers already, but I'm also going to give him one, and hopefully he sees what we're building here and wants to come with us, as he is having some problems with trust issues with the Celtics in real life, if you want to say that. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 4-year deal, player option. I obviously am not going to give him a no trade clause because I might need to trade him away if the team is not doing as good as I wanted to. If Jaylen Brown does not sign, one of my backup plans is to give Anthony Davis a max deal with a player option as well, and then I would trade Anthony Davis for a star small forward. And it looks like Jaylen Brown will not come here, but we do pick up Anthony Davis, so that is going to be huge for us to be able to trade and even get a 90+ overall small forward to come to the team already. If I throw AD in the trade finder right now, I'm honestly not getting any small forward options that I'm a huge fan of. So this might have to wait until the trade deadline once more teams are like figuring out what they're doing and we can see what else is out there. Let's sim to this 2024 player progression and see how the young core is looking with all of our young studs on the team here. So Wembanyama already up to an 89, Jalen Green 88, Şengün 85, Jabari Smith 84, Scoot 84, Tari Eason going up as well, and then Josh Christopher, Justin Edwards, like I said, 78 at a small forward spot. So some of these guys like Josh Christopher and Usman Garuba probably aren't going to be able to get minutes, and I would probably include them in that Anthony Davis trade once we get to the trade deadline. Our 10-man lineup for this year will be the same starting 4 as last year, but Anthony Davis is obviously going to replace Şengün as the starting 5 for now until we get to the trade deadline, and then I can make that Anthony Davis trade. So Şengün 6th man, Eason 7th man, Justin Edwards 8th man, Ty Washington 9th man, and Dashi Nix will be the 10th man with Christopher and Garuba sitting. I feel like this could be a year where we go like 60+ wins at least, especially with AD starting like to start off this first half of the year. But yeah, we're gonna sim to the trade deadline and like 100% trade AD for a star small forward. We are at the trade deadline. We're 41-14, which is good enough for first in the West and first in the league overall. I went through every single team here that are rebuilding or selling to see like who I could get the best deal from for a star small forward. And I think my best option would be to try to trade for Zion and then move him to the 3, because everyone else on my team can pretty much stretch the floor. So having one guy who cannot do that, I don't think will be a problem. It does say though, there's no way that New Orleans will trade Zion Williamson, so this might be tough. I think this is the best offer I'm willing to make them. Anthony Davis, a very highly coveted or projected future first from Brooklyn. Then 4 second-round picks for Zion. They both have the same star value. Zion is 1 overall higher. So I'm hoping this pick makes up for it, but I'm kind of skeptical. Yeah, Zion is someone we consider untouchable. The only way I accept the trade is if they're blown away. So really, the only other thing I could do is go completely all out here and trade Brooklyn's pick for this coming draft, which is giving up an insane amount of future draft capital for us. Like after that, we literally have no first, but having Zion here with the young pieces I already have, I feel like could put us like already on the track to go 82-0 next season. So I think I'm gonna see if they run this trade. They still don't do it. You know what? This is a fantasy style rebuild, so I'm gonna try to trade for Anthony Edwards from the T-Wolves and send them Anthony Davis to have Anthony Edwards as our small forward to pair with Jabari Smith in that spot. So they actually can't afford this straight up. So we're gonna throw DiVincenzo in there. I'm gonna send them Josh Christopher, and I am gonna give them, actually I want to kind of see if they'll do this just without putting those like extra first round picks in. So I'll throw them one of my future firsts that's really not valued in 2 seconds and see if they just agree to this. They still do not. So now if I add on next year's Brooklyn first, I feel like they should agree to this 100%. And they do. Now to kind of deal with the excess players on the bench and solidify, I'm going to trade away DiVincenzo for a future Lakers unprotected first, and then this guy just to make the money work and the Thunder agree. Then I'm going to trade away Usman Garuba and Dashi Nix to the Celtics, who don't have Jaylen Brown anymore, so they have a 2-star projected first round pick here, and then this guy as well, Simon Wilkins, to make the money work. And we're just getting rid of Garuba here because we have too many bigs. And I'd like to shorten the point guard shooting guard rotation down to 9 guys now that we're starting to go for this 82-0 run going into next season. So we're going to do this trade, and they agree. Now our 9-man rotation for the rest of the year is Scoot, Jalen, Anthony Edwards, Wembanyama, Şengün, with Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Justin Edwards, and Ty Washington rounding it off the bench. We should definitely be a 60+ win this, or a 60+ win team this season, and I'm hoping we can bring all the young guys back so that next year we're in a perfect position to be able to go for that 82-0 push. Second season is about to wrap, and we do go above 60 wins. We're 62-19 with 1 game left against the Mavs, and we lose, so 62-20. We don't care about these awards. We surprisingly don't get rookie. Well, Justin Edwards was coming off the bench, so that kind of makes sense. We do get coach of the year though, and we should have all NBA guys by now. As yeah, we do get Wembanyama on all NBA third. He should be all defensive as well. He is. And then Justin Edwards should be, yeah, he is all rookie second team. Real quick look at the stats. I just want to check to make sure everyone is shooting well and no one is falling off here. So Jalen Green playing great, Wembanyama playing great, Scoot's shot is getting better, so like to see that. Jabari Smith's shot is getting slightly better. Tari Eason is playing absolutely insane as our backup power forward center. This guy didn't play for us. Şengün, his shot from 3 is even getting better too, so that is great to see from him. Justin Edwards has a really good rookie season, and then Ty Washington's shot is getting much better as well. Let's sim these 2025 playoffs, see if we will get lucky and our team is finally good enough to just get a championship. And we do get out of the West with Wembanyama as the Western Conference Finals MVP to go against the Cavs, and we win our first championship. So happened in the second year with Wembanyama as the finals MVP. All right, 2025 draft lottery. We should have one more really high projected pick here, and yeah, it's gonna be 4 from Brooklyn. So if we can get another top 3 pick here, that would be huge going forward. And it actually falls all the way to 7, and I don't know if I still have the assets to trade up into the top 3. Okay, I'm sorry to all the Bulls fans out there, but I'm gonna try to finesse again and trade my 7th overall pick and a future unprotected first from the Clippers, I think. Actually, I feel like the Clippers are gonna be worse than the Celtics next year, so I'm gonna swap those out, and I feel like they should agree to this like right away. They actually don't. What if we add 4 seconds on there? They still don't agree to it. So unfortunately, I do have to part ways with both of the picks I ended up acquiring via trades, but I think it's going to be worth it as this is probably the last draft. We're going to need a high pick in, and they agree. So let's see who OKC takes number 1. They go with Trey Johnson, and that's who I wanted to pick up at number 2. I did want a shooting guard this year's draft because we got rid of Dashi Nix and shortened our rotation there. And I think out of the guys left here, I would go for Isaiah Elohim. Ian Jackson would be also a really good pickup. He's a starter ceiling though, and Isaiah Elohim has a Hall of Fame ceiling and really good grades already coming in. So I'm going to take him with the 2nd overall pick. And Isaiah Elohim actually only ends up being a 76. So he ends up being one of the worst guys in this top 7. That is pretty disappointing. I'm not going to bring in the 2nd round pick here because he's not going to play at all. So we do still get a bunch of young guys we have team options on, which is huge for us. And I'm just hoping we can bring back these 2 guys here, Jalen Green and Şengün. All right, Jalen Green is getting a contract offer. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to match it with no problems, and we are. Şengün only wants $23 million, and I can honestly kind of finesse him here too, which is pretty crazy. I guess because he was coming off the bench a bit while Anthony Davis was playing. The way the game works, he didn't think he was valued as high anymore. So yeah, we're going to bring him in for 21.5 mil. Can I even backload this? I probably can. So he'll be at 25 mil in his 5th year. And he agrees to that steal of a deal. Now I think this team is set to go on its first 82-0 potential run as we go into this 2025 player progression. 94 Wembanyama, 92 Edwards, well, Anthony Edwards, 91 Jalen Green, 89 Scoot, 86 Jabari Smith, 86 Şengün, 82 Tari Eason, 82 Justin Edwards, and Ty Washington is getting up to that low 80 overall, hopefully by the next year. And then Isaiah Elohim should be really solid as a rookie. So let's get this 82-0 potential lineup ready. So we're going to have the same starting 5 as last year post-trade deadline, I think, with Scoot, Jalen, Edwards, Anthony Edwards, Wembanyama, and Şengün. Then 87 Jabari Smith coming off the bench with Tari Eason, Justin Edwards, Ty and Isaiah Elohim are kind of scaring me at the bottom of rotation because I feel like 2K is just going to cheese me out of some wins because I have 270s on my roster. But like I need to give them playing time so they keep progressing in case like I'm not able to do it this year by multiple losses, and then next year I'll have an even better chance. We surprisingly only have a 4.5 star system with Michael Stauffer, and I honestly thought it'd be 5 stars, but 4.5 stars is still really good. Let's sim out this third season, I believe. And honestly, let's just start it off game by game, see what happens. So game 1, we win. We'll go 10 games here. Game 2, we got our first loss. This year's chopped. Let's see where we end up at the end of the season. We are at the trade deadline and the team is doing extremely well, but I am afraid if I have to re-sign Tari Eason next offseason along with Jabari Smith, I'm not going to have the money to be able to do both. So I would rather move off of Tari Eason while I still can, and then Ty Washington to try to completely upgrade my backup point guard / shooting guard position, because I have so many good small forward, power forward centers that I could like not have a solidified backup for one of those positions. And I realized if I change Tari Eason to a center, the Utah Jazz would trade me 88 Walker Kessler, which I feel like another team, if I just trade Walker Kessler alone at an 88, would give me a much higher overall guy back to have as a backup point guard, as there's no one else really here that I think would be worth it. Like maybe like Bones Highland, but these guys are on 1-year deals and I'd like to have someone who I can lock up. So we're gonna first do this trade with the Utah Jazz. I put this trade together to try to get DJ Wagner from the T-Wolves for Walker Kessler in a bunch of seconds. I need Dylan Windler here to make the money work, so I feel like that's going to kind of screw it over. Just want to try it though and see if it works, and yeah, they're not interested. So instead, I'm going to try to trade Walker Kessler and Carter Knox for Carson Wallace from the Lakers, who I would have on a team option for 1 more year, which is huge, and his per 36 numbers are pretty crazy, as well as his stats in general. So let's see if they agree to this straight up, and they do. So for our lineup now, we're gonna still run the same starting 5 out, except off the bench we're just gonna run Carson Wallace there and shorten it by 1 guy, removing from Ty Washington and Tari Eason. As you can see, we're 49-7 right now, which is kind of under where I thought we would be by this point. But I say that and we take 2 L's, 3 L's, 4 L's. I was gonna say I feel like we're gonna end up above 70 wins this year, but after that little clip there, I don't know if we're gonna be able to. Okay, I accidentally just skipped by everything, so I will go back and show you guys. We did end up with a 70 win record, so that is pretty huge. And Wembanyama ended up getting MVP with obviously Michael Stauffer as coach of the year again. So we went from 19 wins to almost 50 wins, almost 50 wins to 60 plus wins, then 60 plus wins to to 70 plus wins, as we lose in the conference finals to the OKC Thunder, who I was trying to get one of their players, I think, and I wasn't able to. So they're going to be a stacked team throughout this video as well, as they lose in the finals to the Pistons in 7. Literally for the last 2 years here, I just need to hope I can get the whole team back, because everyone is like progressing and really young and will keep getting better as we go on, as at this point we're not going to have any more like high draft picks to get better guys with. We still have Wembanyama, Scoot, Justin Edwards, and Carson Wallace on team options though, so that's going to be huge for our cap situation. And I think Jabari Smith is the only guy I have to give another deal to this year. And even though he's been coming off the bench, he does want around 30 mil. I'm going to see if I can get it to like exactly 30 mil on a backloaded deal with, honestly, I'm not even going to put an option on it because I don't want to give it to him. And he will thankfully take that deal. Now going into this 2026 player progression, we should have like 590 overalls at least in the lineup with an insane bench. And we actually end up with 490 overalls. Jabari Smith on his way there. Same with Justin Edwards and Şengün. Carson Wallace will probably get to high 80s by the end of the season, hopefully. And Isaiah Elohim is still progressing. His stats were really good last year. I didn't end up showing it. He didn't put up a lot of points, but he only played 8 minutes a night, and he shot really efficiently though. And once again now, we are running out the same starting 5 with Jabari Smith, Edwards, Carson Wallace, and Isaiah Elohim coming off the bench. I'm going much heavier on the starters for this year though, because I really want to get to like hopefully 80 wins. That would be crazy. So Isaiah Elohim once again is not going to get that much run. We're still 4.5 star 7-second system, unfortunately. So let's sim by these game by game to see how many games we can go without a loss right now. Okay, we end up 2-0 last year. That's where we lost. And we end up 3-0. Can we go 4-0? Okay, we're 4-0. Can we go 5-0? We're 5-0. Can we go 6-0? Okay, once we get to 10, then I'm gonna just start simulating through the season, and we're just gonna watch it slowly. So we're at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more games here to get to 10 in a row. Okay, last game against the Wizards. Okay, so we have gone 10-0 right now. Let's sim the regular season, and hopefully this doesn't screw me over right now. So we're just gonna keep simming until there's an L, just to see how far we can take this, like, without doing any stops. We're 15-0 right now, 16-0, and we lose to the Celtics by 2 points. They ended up signing Desmond Bain to pair with Tatum after Jaylen Brown left. They still have Marcus Smart and Rob Williams. So that kind of sucks. We made it 16 games without an L. Now let's just sim out the regular season and cut to the end. Maybe we can still go 80 wins. All right, I don't know if team chemistry and having the morale on is screwing this all up, but we end up under 70 wins, even though our guys got insanely better. So it's 67-14. 1 game left against the Mavs and we win, so 68-14. Wembanyama, back-to-back MVPs. He's putting up insane stat lines. Do we get anyone else on these teams here? No, all defensive. We obviously do get Coach of the Year. Wembanyama gonna be first team. No one else on all NBA teams to meet him there though, and Wembanyama still all defensive second team. At this point, everyone here is like shooting the ball well, playing good defense. Even Scoot is shooting almost like 37% from 3. Jabari Smith stretching the floor really well. Şengün stretching the floor well. Justin Edwards, Carson Wallace playing great. Isaiah Elohim had another really good season. I think my last resort potentially in this offseason is trade Şengün for an even better starting center if I'm able to, and see, wow, we actually lose in the conference finals again. So the Spurs and the Thunder and the Pistons are completely on one right now and have better teams than me apparently. All right, the Spurs only have 190 overall, an old Domantas Sabonis, and they're beating me in the conference finals. The Thunder is understandable. They have 490 overalls, but after that they fall off, and we have a bunch of high 80s guys as well. 2027 team player options. Anthony Edwards declines. I completely mislooked seeing that he was on the last year of his deal with the player option. So that's a huge L on me, but we are going to bring these other 3 guys back. And then we are going to have to pay a bunch of guys here, probably a lot of money, in Scoot, Wembanyama, and Carson Wallace. Okay, so right now, Anthony Edwards has no real offers. So I'm hoping I can skip through until I can bring back Wembanyama, and oh my God, I can't bring back Anthony Edwards. That's a pretty big L, but it has to be done. I need to bring back Wembanyama and Scoot. I feel like just gonna work so much better with the team. I just gotta make sure I don't renounce Scoot Henderson here. So we should be good there. I'm gonna get Scoot on a 5-year extension, backloaded, starting at 30 mil, ending at 36. Then I'm gonna try to get Carson Wallace on a kind of team-friendly deal here and hope that he accepts it. Scoot actually gets an offer from the 76ers, so we're gonna match it. Then Carson Wallace agrees to his deal. Now going into the last player progression here, I think I might do 1 more year after this just to like see if they can get it done somehow and everyone's better. We do still have 490s. Jabari Smith will probably end up there with his little morale boost. Şengün is still under a 90 though. I might do a big move here. Maybe Carson Wallace and Isaiah Elohim and look for like another 90 overall point guard shooting guard. And then see if I can trade maybe Şengün in one of them instead for a better backup or a better starting center. I think it is time to try to go all in here. I would get rid of Şengün and Carson Wallace to get Zion Williamson on the team and kind of like have an all 90s super squad and run a really short rotation to try to go 82-0. I don't even think the Pels will agree to this, and yeah. This is literally the best offer I can make them. Still the same 2 guys with 2 firsts, Brandon Clark and a second. Then I would take an old Noah Vonleh here who's a 71 overall. Do they agree? Alright, this might be an L, but I'm literally going to trade Şengün and Brandon Clark to get 1 overall higher here in Triple J. And he stretches the floor better. He plays better post defense, but he's not as good of a rebounder. But I'm just hoping that my size from 3, 4, and 5 all the way through my roster makes up for it. So they should agree to this trade. Wow. Does doing the seconds cheese work? It still does not. So I think I'm gonna have to give them a first at least, and then probably 2 firsts to get this done. And they're still not interested. What about with 2 seconds finally? Finally, that gets it done. Here's what I think our final rotation is gonna be. I might do 1 more year if I can bring everyone back, but if I can't bring everyone back, I don't think it's gonna be worth it. So 93 Scoot, 93 Jalen Green, 91 Justin Edwards, 89 Jabari Smith, 98 Wembanyama. They actually want Triple J to come off the bench. So Triple J off the bench with Carson Wallace, 7th man, and Isaiah Elohim as the 8th man, and that's gonna be our whole lineup there. Once again, let's go game by game for a bit here and see how long we can go without. Oh my god, dude, we take an L on the second game, dude. How is my roster even losing a game here? Especially to the Wizards. Look at this Wizards roster right now, and then look at our roster. Literally should not even be a close game. We have 5 90s, almost 6 90s. Isaiah Elohim and Carson Wallace, high 80s guy. They don't even have a single 90. I can't end it like that. We're gonna sim this season, see where we end up, and then do 1 more season. I feel like there should be a really good chance we can bring everyone back, but if not, I feel like we could still run a short rotation and do really well. 5th year is about to wrap. Something is not right in this sim, or like the settings that I ended up doing. We're 68 and 13 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 90s, almost 6 of them, almost 8 90s in our rotation that we're running. And we have a 5-star system, which I forgot to show at the start when we started simming, and everyone in the system is perfect. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to sim 1 more season here just because I feel like it's like really weird what's happening. And I think after, wow, Wembanyama gets Defensive Player of the Year for the first time, averaging a steal and a half and 2 blocks. We do also obviously get Coach of the Year once again. I feel like once we have 1 more player progression to go through, where Carson Wallace and Isaiah Elohim will probably get to like really high 80s to close 90s guys, then the game will probably start like realizing, okay, this team should be unstoppable. So we're gonna sim these playoffs here, as we will probably win it once again for the first time since the first year, and we do with Scoot as your finals MVP this time. As we end up losing Michael Stauffer in free agency, and all these other guys I gave offers to because I was scared I was going to lose him reject or block me, and I have to bring in Jason Kidd. Okay, 2028 free agency is done. I just went through it really quick. I had to make some unfortunate changes. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 90s with Isaiah Elohim almost there, and then Jabari Smith and Triple J almost there as well. I had to trade away Carson Wallace to be able to re-sign Justin Edwards, and Carson Wallace was an 87, and I figured that Isaiah Elohim would go up like crazy, so I thought it was a smart thing to do, and I feel like I did make the right decision. Then other than that, I just signed a bunch of vets here to hopefully play decent once, in case some of these guys foul out, if that was the reason why we were losing so many games, like more than I thought we should be. Here is definitely our final lineup. We literally have 6 90 overalls with only Triple J not being a 90 in there, and we're only gonna run a 7-man rotation here. So yeah, this dude, if this lineup doesn't win at least 80 games, I don't understand what more I can do. We still have a 5-star 7-second system under Jason Kidd. I think I'm just gonna hit simulate regular season here and hope that if I do that, we're not gonna lose a game like me simming through the games individually. So let's see what happens here. Dude, how? Tell me how I'm losing games, bro. To the Mavericks, to the Spurs, and I have 6 out of 7 90 overalls in my starting lineup. Look at this Mavericks team. Only 2 90 overalls. They have only 3 guys that are close to there. Then the rest of their guys completely fall off. I have 7 guys down my rotation who are all damn near 90 overall. Even when we go to the Spurs, they have 2 guys 95. They only have 190, and then Basala Bagayoko, then a couple mid 80s guys, going down to like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 decent guys in rotation. I have a 79 as well who could be an 8th man, and these guys are beating me like with my 6 90 overalls in my starting, not even starting, in my lineup, in my rotation. I'll just sim out this regular season live so you guys can see what's happening as we go through it. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous that we're losing this many games, man. It's definitely the team chemistry. Look at the chemistry on the bottom. It's like completely shot. So yeah, this kind of sucks that the 82-0 challenge got ruined. I thought it would be more fair or like proper to put teammate chemistry on, but now that I'm thinking about it, looking back, I probably shouldn't put it on since it is a fantasy style video doing these 82-0 challenges. So yeah, going forward, like I said, every single week I'm gonna do one of these, going through every single team in the league. Some teams will have a bunch of draft assets like this one, like the Rockets, like draft picks that I could get guys like that to have high 90 overalls in the future with. And then some teams are just gonna have a bunch of old players that I could trade for upcoming younger players to progress with into the 82-0 challenge. So yeah, we just barely go over 60 wins this season, which is just absolutely ridiculous to me. Wembanyama got MVP like I think 3 times in 6 years. Depoy, he got it twice. We got Isaiah Elohim most improved, and we didn't even get coach of the year, bro. That's just so embarrassing. Like, putting on the teammate chemistry or the morale just completely killed this, which is really disappointing. Let's just see if we can end up with another championship to end it off on a decent note here. And it looks like we will, as Isaiah Elohim is now getting Western Conference Finals MVP, so it definitely was the right choice not to trade him away, and we do end up winning another one with Wembanyama as the Finals MVP. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below about anything you thought. I did say before, comment if you think I should use a Stepien rule and morale, but at this point I think it just completely kills it, like the whole concept of trying to go 82-0 in a fantasy style way. So going forward, I'm just not going to use a Stepien rule or teammate morale or team chemistry. Like I said in my last video, if you guys have any rebuild ideas you want me to do, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll probably be able to get to them in the coming weeks/months. Hope you're all doing well. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.